Well, hi there, food friends. I'm Kevin,
And I'm Ralph behind the camera.
and welcome to Cavalcade of Food.
He likes to cook and I like to eat.
So it always works out. And Ralph, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to bake bread.
Yum.
Now, it seems like that's a weird thing to start in the evening, but
Maybe.
we're not going to make this bread till tomorrow. What we're going to do, this is a bread recipe that is supposed to work without kneading. Okay?
Kneading,
Yes,
kneading.
yes, this kind of kneading. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to 4 simple ingredients: water, salt, yeast, flour. We're going to mix it all together in this container. We're going to let it kind of do a first rising for a couple of hours. Then we're going to put it in the fridge. And then after that, it's done. We can use it within a couple of weeks.
Really?
Whenever we want to make bread.
Wow.
This is going to be enough to make probably, 2 or 3 loaves.
Oh, so that's why you're going to maybe
Yeah.
freeze some of it. So,
Okay.
So we've made bread before, but this is, I think, a simpler process.
It is. So we're going to give this a shot here. I like the idea of having the dough ready. Now what I've got is some water. Using my thermometer, you want the water about 110 degrees.
Really?
Okay? I'm sorry, 100 degrees.
Oh, okay.
You could go up to 110, I guess, but we've got it at 100. Anything over 110, you could hurt the yeast. And too much heat will actually kill it.
Make it cry.
So, yeah, we don't want to make it cry. So I'm using regular kind of dry yeast. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of yeast.
So this is the
Here.
yeast you can find anywhere, easy to find.
Anywhere. Real standard stuff here. Okay, 1 tablespoon of yeast. Then I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of salt. Okay, I'm using a kosher salt here. All right, we're going to stir that together.
So this water has been heated, obviously.
Yeah, I just heated it in the microwave
Oh, okay.
for a few seconds.
So you'll need a thermometer for this this bread, and one of the things that is simpler is that you're not going to be kneading the bread. So in that process, that's one step taken out.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm just stirring the yeast and the salt around. Now I've got 6 cups of flour here.
Wow, that's a lot of
A
flour.
lot of flour. This is all-purpose white, unbleached.
Okay.
Okay, flour.
Easy to find.
6 cups. We're going to put it all in at one time. There you go. In. Now we're going to take our spoon and we're going to stir it.
Carefully.
And we just want to make sure that it's stirred. Again, we're not kneading this dough. We want to make sure it's stirred so that there's, all the flour is moistened. There shouldn't be any dry lumps. I'm going to try to get it here with my spoon.
So it's
If I need to get my hands in there, so be it. But
it's about integrating the wetness and the dry and making sure that it is all working together
correct.
chemically.
Okay. So I think that's
How's it-
pretty good, actually. We got a little dry flour on the side here, but
So even though we've made bread, or Kevin has made bread before years ago on Cavalcade of Food, he had a taste for some very rustic, crunchy, porous bread.
yeah, we
Artisan bread, I guess you might call
artisan
it.
bread. Yeah, I guess that's the word that we use now to describe really kind of homemade, rustic bread. I'm talking about the kind that has a really nice crust on the outside, but has a airy,
Yes.
tender,
Porous kind of texture on the inside.
right. And about this dough, the longer, it's going to rise. We're going to leave it alone for 2 hours. I'm going to put a lid on top, but not tight. I'm not snapping it down.
Okay.
Just putting it like so. After 2 hours, I'm going to transfer it to the fridge.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And it'll sit there overnight, and tomorrow we'll bake our first loaf with this. However, it's good up to 2 weeks, and the longer it sits in the fridge, the more it kind of develops flavor.
Oh.
After a week, it's going to start having a tang, like a sourdough, Ralph. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It will
almost
it'll ferment
fermenting
a little bit.
Right,
okay.
Right. Okay.
So you know what? We've got enough dough here to do a couple of loaves. So what that means is we can bake a loaf tomorrow, see how that comes out, leave it in the fridge. When we're back at the cottage next weekend, bake another loaf and compare. Okay. The taste. The texture and the look should be the same, but the dough will have continued to sort of mature in the refrigerator and develop more of the kind of that sourdough-ish type flavors.
Plus, we'll have a fresh loaf each time.
Yeah.
When we need it.
Okay.
2, 3.
All right, Ralph.
Has it been a couple
It
hours?
has been 2 hours and maybe about 10 minutes.
Wow, I can already tell that this bread is going to be porous, and you can see
it's alive.
It's alive.
It's alive.
Boy.
Look, it's alive.
So it's risen, and
It's risen.
It has that. Looks like it has that kind of texture you want it to get, right?
Yeah, you can even see the moisture. I don't know if the camera can pick it up on the inside of the lid. So you know what? I'm going to put the lid back on. Again, I'm not going to snap it down tight.
This is the part where you refrigerate.
It's going to keep releasing
gases.
Yeah, it's carbon dioxide. But I'm going to move it to the refrigerator. Okay? So I'm going to put it in here. And again, it'll just literally chill out. Okay, Ralph, it's the next day. We've got our refrigerated dough out here.
Ooh, that yeast dough.
It is nice and yeasty, isn't it?
Porous. You can see that it's going to make for a good crusty porous.
Yeah, hopefully.
Bread. Yep.
You know, I use this it's kind of a food container. It's made for food storage, but you could use any kind, Pyrex bowl, ceramic bowl,
some large container
preferably
with a lid
of plastic. If you have a lid, great. If you don't use just plastic wrap, saran wrap, put over the top,
but not too tight.
Not too tight. You want it to be able to breathe. So what I want to do is I want to take a pound of this dough out. Okay. I've got a little kitchen scale here that will help me measure it.
But you could do it visually if you don't have all these great things Kevin has in his kitchen.
Right. You could just eyeball it, but I'm going to try, because I want to try to get maybe 2 or 3 loaves out of this. So I'm going to use a pound of the dough. I have a pizza peel here. This is not mandatory, but it helps. You could just use a piece of parchment paper if you had it.
Or a cutting board.
Or cutting board. I'm going to put some cornmeal down on here, and I'm putting cornmeal down because this will prevent the dough from sticking to the peel, and it will help it slide off when we put it in the oven. Okay, we're going to be baking our bread on a stone. That is kind of important to have a baking stone, but we'll talk more about that later. All right, so I'm going to flour up my hands a little bit. And I'm actually going to sprinkle a little flour on the top of the dough here to make it easier for me to grab. This is going to be really sticky, this dough.
Right now it looks like that movie, The Blob.
So I'm going to grab what I hope, and I'm using the kitchen shears to kind of cut off what will hopefully be. Not quite. There we go. A little more than a pound. Pound 01. Okay? Then I'm going to put it here on this plate with, you see, I just have the flour. This is just to prevent it from sticking. And we want to make this into a ball. We're not kneading it. We're just folding the edges in. You see what I'm doing? Inward. And turning it.
Yes.
Okay? Just That's all I'm doing here. All right.
It's probably important not to overdo it, right?
No, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to put it on the cornmeal. We're done. We're going to let that go for about 40 minutes. I'm
Just
not
let it sit
covering
there?
it. No, that's it. I'm just going to let it sit. I'm not going to cover it. I'm not going to do anything. And we will let that rise. It will rise a little bit, but more importantly, we want it to rest. Okay, Ralph, we've got about our bread's got about another 20 minutes to rest and relax yet, but what I'm going to do now is preheat the oven, and check this out. Of course, our beautiful 61 Westinghouse
Yes.
in service. I'm using a baking stone here, so this is one that, you know, you can see I make a lot of pizza on this, but it's ceramic. Whenever you use a baking stone, you want to preheat it. In other words, whatever you're putting on it, bread dough, pizza dough, this should already be good and hot.
Okay.
Okay, when the stuff hits it.
Okay.
I'll put some cornmeal on here right before I put the dough on. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want it to burn. Okay, so we're going to put the pizza stone there in the middle of the oven, and then I've got just a baking pan here. I'm gonna, any kind of metal baking dish, baking pan would work. Don't use glass for this, but I'm gonna end up putting some water in there to create some steam in the oven once I put the bread in. But we're just gonna turn the old oven up to 450 degrees. Okay, so it's a fairly hot oven. But you want that stone to preheat at least 20 minutes, even 30 is okay. So it's good and hot when you put the dough on.
And what's the purpose of the steam?
The steam will help create a crusty crust.
Oh.
Okay?
Roll out the butter. We'll have a barrel of butter. Boy, that's a lot of butter.
Isn't it? Yeah, this is a couple of pounds here of 2 pounds of Amish roll butter. We picked this up here at one of the Mennonite store from Minerva Dairy, Minerva, Ohio, 5th and 6th generation. But you know what? It's hormone free, 84% butter fat. You see that, Ralph?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
It means yummy.
It means it means yummy. And let's just face it, right? We bake the bread so we can put the butter on it.
The delivery system.
Exactly. It's the delivery
Mo
system.
butter, mo better.
So here's our loaf, our dough. I'm going to sprinkle a little flour just on the top.
It's going to get bigger, isn't it? We have people coming over.
I know. So yes, it should rise in the oven. Remember, this has been refrigerated. Okay. I'm going to slice the top like this and like this. Okay.
Is that to like kind of let it breathe? Or
Yeah, and that will just sort of create a design. Kind of open the top up a little bit.
Oh, to make it easier to cut, maybe.
Yes. So what I'm going to do now is, oven's been preheating for like 20 minutes at 450. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to get our pizza stone here. And I'm going to put a little bit of cornmeal on it.
I'll give you $20 if you lick that. You know it's real hot though, right?
I know, it's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. Okay, we're going to put a little cornmeal here down on the thing. You can smell it. Then I'm going to try. Look at that. Huh?
So
there it goes.
I was asking Kevin off camera when he put the cornmeal why he couldn't have used flour. And now I see why, because the cornmeal kind of serves a couple of purposes. It won't burn like the flour might have, and it provides, it's a little slicker or easier for it to slide off.
You saw how that slid off.
It's nice and easy.
Here's what I did. And you see how beautifully it works with the peel. Slid that dough off onto the hot baking stone, where I put a little cornmeal again so that the loaf doesn't stick to the baking stone.
Because it's grittier.
And then I just ran the tap and got as hot of water as I can out of the tap, about a cup, and I put that in that pan that was underneath it, okay?
So it won't bring the temperature down.
That's it. Now we bake. We'll keep an eye on it, 35, 40 minutes-ish.
At what temperature again?
It's at 450.
Okay.
Okay? So, Ralph, our bread has been in 42 minutes.
Okay.
Give or take. But I've been keeping an eye on it, and it looks done.
Wow.
So I'm going to try to get it. There we go. Look at that.
Whoa.
On the peel here.
That's what I call an artisan loaf of bread.
Isn't she a beauty?
Sure looks like it.
Yeah. So we're gonna.
It smells good too.
It should kind of, when you tap on it, you should get a hollow sound like that.
So
okay?
That sounds right.
Yep.
How soon before we can cut it and put Amish butter on it?
It's really hot. You really don't want to ever cut bread when it's really hot, because it'll just get, you want the heat to rise out of the bread. When it's warm, you're
perfect.
good. Okay.
So it's still part of the process is what it's going through now is cooling.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna, the nice part about this bread is you can cool it completely. You can put it in a freezer bag and freeze it. You can cool it completely, and you can put it in a hot oven for about 10 or 15 minutes and crust it, warm it up if you wanted to serve it warm with dinner.
Reheat it and serve it.
Or you could just wait till it cools down to warm and start eating it.
I'm just anxious.
What we might do.
I'm anxious to cut it to see if it came out as rustic and porous and crusty as we had wanted it to.
So, okay.
Okay.
So we're going to leave this to cool, and we'll take another look at it once we cut into it.
All right, we'll go listen to some Peggy Lee while we wait for it to cool.
Love Peggy Lee. It's just warm to the touch.
How's the bottom look?
Bottom looks nice. That's the cornmeal, right?
Yeah,
you often see that.
You do.
So what I'm going to do, Ralph, is I'm just going to cut. You hear that sound?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cut a slice.
It's not like when you cut Wonder Bread and it just kind of like...
Look at that.
Ooh.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's what you wanted, right?
That's what I wanted. I'm going to cut this in half. We're going to take a little of our butter here that I've softened.
Get the best butter you can, because it does make a difference. Whether it's European, Irish, French, or
whatever you like.
Amish.
Okay. Here we go.
I thought I was going to put the whole thing in his mouth. Is it good?
Oh. That crust of butter, But, if you just eat the bread, sans butter, it's just what you want. Crunchy crust, tender
on the inside,
but light on the inside.
And yeasty enough?
Mm-hmm.
You were saying if you leave it longer in the refrigerator, it can get even a stronger, almost sourdough kind of flavor if you prefer that.
But, this dough was
just right.
Only in one day. But, oh, that's nice. So, anyways, we're going to put some more butter.
More better.
I might even leave this for the cameraman to try.
Oh, yeah, he would like that.
I'm sure he would.
So,
but we made bread, everybody. So you know what? This is a 1 pound loaf, okay? Perfect for really
one person. No,
not one person. 2 or 3 people, even 4, depending on, we're bread freaks, but good for one meal to have with one meal. And it's just delicious. So you know what? I'm so glad we made this together. Thank you for being with us. Bread is the staff of life.
So here's to life.
Here's to life.
Should have had Shirley Horn in the background.
I know. Thank you for spending time with us. We'll see you next time right here on Cavalcade of Food.
Bye now.
Bye.